Hi, welcome back to Ferrigno Freedom channel. I'm Dante Ferrigno, and I am going to be checking out a new video today that has to do with the carnivore diet. I have been on a carnivore diet now for a little over 3 years, and it has done nothing but make great changes for me. I've lost close to 100 pounds. I've gotten in the best shape of my life. I've gotten rid of all the medicines that I used to have to take. My blood work looks great. Doctors are amazed. I'm amazed. It's just been fantastic. At age 51, I feel as good as I did when I was a teenager in many respects. And it's been like finding the fountain of youth. Well, I have had some bumps along the way, some difficulties. See, I've been doing a version of carnivore diet known as a lion diet, which means I only eat ruminant meat, water, and salt. And that means I don't do butter because butter is not a ruminant meat. It is from, in many cases, ruminant animals. It's not a ruminant meat, it's dairy, and dairy is not on the lion diet. So I've had my difficulties with eggs and butter while I've been on this way of eating because I've tried to reincorporate them back into my way of eating, and it seems like they go great. They don't hurt my digestion, and for the most part, as long as I got pasture-raised eggs and good Irish butter that's been grass-fed, usually everything is fine. But it seems like I just tend to gain weight around that time period too. And even though I enjoy the eggs, I enjoy the butter, and it seems to be something that my body's craving, the question is it causing me to put on weight? I don't know. I don't know if that's what's causing me to have, weight fluctuations like I am, but I do know that I've cut them out and it tends to go down. So let's take a look at this video by Steak and Butter Gal called I'm Sad to Share This Tragic News About Butter and Eggs. And it just shows this is tragic, and her holding her a thumbs down, holding up Kerrygold butter from about a year ago. Now, I know I had heard something about Kerrygold butter having a change to skim milk, for instance, on their maybe unsalted or their salted version, but I don't know what's happened since then, and I'm not really 100% sure that was what happened. So let's take a look at this and find out and see if it's going to be something that's going to be helpful. Let me grab my headphones. All right, now that I got my headphones in, let's go ahead and bring this up.
Hey SB fam, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. I hope you all are having a Gouda meat fueled day. I'm filming this video to give you guys a heads up on some things that I've discovered. Updating you guys on some things that are concerning. And it has everything to do with my favorite carnivore staples, specifically butter and eggs. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory. I went to Costco last night to do the usual grocery shopping, stocking up on my carnivore staples. I usually visit Costco with Steak and Butter Guy once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, just depending on how quickly we go through our groceries. So we drive to Costco last night, and I go in, as usual, straight to the meat department. I get my favorite meats, by the way. I was very happy to see that they had flank and short ribs in stock for $9.99 a pound. Pro tip, flank and short ribs are the best cut of meat, especially if you are tired of your usual go-to carnivore meals. Try flank and short ribs. I'll put in snippets of the groceries that I got, how I cook my favorite staples. But this is more about the concerning news. So I get my favorite meats, I get my beef, and I walk to the dairy section. And you know how there's this huge freezing room for the dairy products. I walk in there and I go straight to the eggs first, because I am ready to stock up on eggs. I have been eating about like 5 to 12 eggs a day. I love my eggs. They're such a big part of my carnivore diet. So I walk up to the eggs and I see a sign stuck right above every single type of egg that they sell. Limit 2 on eggs. I have never seen this sign before, ever, at any Costco that I've ever visited. I was shocked because usually every time I go to Costco, I'll get like 3 to 4, sometimes 5 boxes of eggs because I go through them so quickly. I'm actually very curious, if you're watching and you love shopping at Costco, you get eggs from Costco, have you seen this sign at your local Costco's lately? Because this was the first time I saw this limit 2 on eggs at mine. And I asked if I could do 2 boxes of eggs for each different type of brand that they sell. And they're like, nope, 2 boxes of eggs for anything. And if that wasn't tragic enough, I noticed that the usual Wilcox pasture-raised eggs are now Wilcox free-range eggs. And I'll put snippets because I recorded everything when I went to Costco last night. So I didn't see any pasture-raised eggs available as an option at all. I only saw the Wilcox free range and the Kirkland brand free range. So I got 2 boxes of eggs. And then I went to the butter section because I always stock up on a bunch of butter at Costco. It is just hands down the cheapest price that you get per block, per ounce. The butter prices are going up. I don't know if you guys are seeing butter prices going up, but where I am, butter has gone up $1.50 at least. It used to be $4 and something cents, and now it has literally gone up to above $5 for each Kerrygold block of butter. So that's why the last time I went to Whole Foods, I didn't buy any butter. I instead just planned on stocking up on Kerrygold butter at Costco. The price is still reasonable. Thank goodness. It is $14.49 for 4 blocks of Kerrygold butter, which means each block is $3.60 roughly. And that again is so much cheaper than $5.50 for 1 block of Kerrygold. So I reach for the Kerrygold unsalted and I check the ingredients. Anytime I'm at the grocery store now, I always check the ingredients. And I think that's a really good habit to build because you just never know what your favorite brands are doing to their ingredients. You never know if you're buying a new bacon, if there's sugar, a bunch of preservatives. It's always smart to check the ingredients before you pay for the product. So I check the ingredients of this Kerrygold unsalted butter. And I noticed something very concerning. The ingredients read pasteurized cream, skimmed milk, and cultures. 3 ingredients: pasteurized cream, skimmed milk, cultures. I know for a fact that skimmed milk ingredient was not part of the list the last time I checked Kerrygold unsalted butter. So I'm confused, I'm shocked, and I reached for the salted Kerrygold butter. And I noticed that there is no skimmed milk in the ingredients of the salted Kerrygold. The ingredients are literally pasteurized cream and salt. And actually, I got both of them, brought it home just so I can really investigate further, okay? So I have both of the Kerrygold products sold at Costco. This gold one is the salted one, and this silver one is the unsalted. Now, if you guys have been following my journey for a while, you guys know that I don't need salt to feel my best. I actually prefer to not eat salt. So when I buy my butters, I always go for unsalted butter. But if you compare the ingredients list, unsalted one has pasteurized cream, skimmed milk, cultures. That's it. Salted one has pasteurized cream, salt. That's it. So there's no cultures, there's no skimmed milk in the salted one, whereas this unsalted one has 2 extra unnecessary ingredients. So I wonder, did they add these recently just to boost the flavor of unsalted butter? Because I definitely don't need that. And if adding skimmed milk adds extra processing, processed foods, skimmed milk powders, how will that affect how I feel? How will that affect my sensitive long-haul healers who have autoimmune issues, who want to eat high-fat carnivore to expedite their healing? I'm sure the skimmed milk and the cultures could very well intervene with healing and affect how great us sensitive carnivores feel. I already opened this unsalted box and I used a whole block last night. I had half, Steak and Butter Guy had half. By the way, Steak and Butter Guy is eating so much more butter these days. I think it's because he's listening to all the interviews that I'm doing. He's really being more and more open-minded about incorporating more fats in the carnivore diet. Honestly, just him being carnivore, I'm happy. I have nothing to complain about, but I think he's feeling very inspired just seeing how I eat super high-fat carnivore, and he's trying to follow along and integrate more fats. But anyways, I had half of this block, he had half of this block, and just a quick update on how I feel today, the very next day. No adverse reactions, no negative symptoms, didn't affect my sleep. I feel very energetic today, no inflammation, no reactions in my skin, no breakouts. So I think so far so good, but still I am very concerned about this skimmed milk extra ingredient that I have not seen before, that every time that I check the ingredients list. And why isn't it in the salted butter one? Because the salted one is very clean, pasteurized cream and salt, that's it. I bought the salted one because Steak and Butter Guy prefers salted butter if he's going to snack on it as a snack. If you guys have any thoughts about what I shared regarding the butter, comment it down below. I would like to know if you are also seeing butter prices increase where you guys are. It's pretty heartbreaking because I buy so much butter.
And here's some screenshots just for some more insight about all of this. This is a screenshot from Kerrygold themselves, and they say skimmed milk is used for a better flavor profile. I personally do not taste any improvement in the flavor when I tried the skimmed milk version Kerrygold butter yesterday night. But thank you, Marilyn and the Keto Prescription, for sharing this screenshot email. And here are some thoughts from my carnivore friends for what they think about this new ingredient list. Coach Steven thinks it's for no other reason than to increase profit, and Dr. Kiltz thinks it lowers the fat content and adds sugar.
But since we're on the topic of butter, might as well show you my entire collection of fats that I always have on hand. Alternative options just in case butter gives you adverse reactions, especially if this new ingredient list in the Kerrygold Unsalted gives you negative reactions. I will keep you updated on how I personally feel with this Kerrygold Unsalted, because obviously I'm going to finish this box that I bought. First product that I want to share with you guys, ghee. Now, ghee is the most similar product to butter, but it's more gentle. Firstly, it is clarified. So ghee no longer has the trace amounts of lactose, and those trace amounts can tend to inflame my sensitive carnivores. If you are lactose intolerant, and I know a lot of Asians tend to be lactose intolerant, butter can make you inflamed. It can trigger issues, which is why ghee is a beautiful alternative, especially if you need your fats. I personally love the flavor of ghee, but just 2 days ago, I asked my Steak and Butter Gang community what they think about ghee, and a lot of my members said that they hate the flavor of ghee, they don't like that grainy consistency and texture of ghee. All of those things I really like. I personally really enjoy the graininess and that texture. I find it adds to the mouthfeel, but I get it. Sometimes the flavor of ghee can be very overpowering. It can be a turnoff. I do find that different brands.
I gotta admit, I'm not a big fan of ghee myself. I've had a lot of people recommend it because of my difficulties with butter in the past. And this is pretty much just reinforces what I had heard about so long ago about Kerrygold butter. This is probably the impetus for what I had heard. Somebody had shared with me about the unsalted butter not having the same ingredients, but having skimmed milk in it instead of good cream. And that would be disappointing if that's what you were looking for. Now, I've always used the salted version of the butter, and I tend to get the butter from Aldi, the Irish butter that they sell. So it's not exactly the same as Kerrygold, but I've checked the ingredients on that, and I don't have one handy right now. I may have one in the refrigerator. Let me go look. All right, here we go. I do have one here. Let's see if I can see the ingredients on this thing. Pasteurized cream, milk, salt, minimum butter fat 80%, maximum salt content 2%, contains milk, product of Ireland. So that's it. It's cream, salt, and butter fat. Cream, salt, and butter fat. So I'm happy with this one. But at the same time, even when I use this one, this is what I use from my family. This is what I give to my children because they don't seem to have a problem with butter. But whenever I've used this, I tend to keep my weight around the same. I don't know if it's just the butter or if it's other things that I sometimes am having with it, like the coffee. But I find when I leave butter alone, I tend to do better. Lately, I've been cooking with Wagyu beef tallow. So like when I tried making eggs alone with the Wagyu beef tallow rather than with butter to see if that was going to be able to fix some of the issues that I was having. And it didn't seem to go away, so I tried it with just the yolks and using the Wagyu beef tallow, and that didn't seem to fix anything either. It was only once I cut out the eggs and the butter all together that I started to get my weight back under control. So I don't know why. I don't know what it is about me and butter and me and eggs, but I tend to gain weight. Some people may not have that problem.
Have different flavors in their ghee, and I really like Thrive Market's flavor. It's more neutral, it's not as strong and overpowering, and the graininess is not extreme, as you guys can see. So this is the inside of the ghee. You can see that it's actually pretty smooth. If you like your ghee nice and soft and spreadable, I would just keep it at room temperature or let it melt at room temperature. But I just put it in the fridge. Now, if you do love your butter and you can tolerate the butter, you feel fantastic on butter. I've really been loving Vital Farms unsalted butter lately. And again, why do I go for unsalted butter as opposed to salted butter? I just personally prefer my flavors without that salty flavor. I don't need salt to excite my palate, and I also don't need salt to feel my best. I've experimented with salt before, adding it in, having a little bit of it, having none of it, and every time I experiment with salt, I just find I feel my best, I perform my best without any salt. I personally don't.
For the most part, I have been the opposite the entire time I've been a carnivore. For the first 2 years, I salted everything heavily. Lately, I haven't been adding salt to my water, and I notice I have better energy when I'm doing that, which is unusual because it used to be I had to salt my water to have energy. I still salt all my food, but I'm finding that I don't need salt as much as I used to. So it's something that I'm going to be experimenting more with, maybe even trying my food with less salt. I've tried the steak without salt though, and I prefer it with salt still. I don't know if that's just my taste or if that's actually my body saying, yes, we need some salt. So it's just something that might change with time, is what I understand from a lot of carnivores who started off needing a lot of salt and then eventually didn't need much salt at all, or they're like Steak and Butter Gal here who doesn't use salt anymore.
Eat salt, but that does not mean you should cut out salt from your diet. In fact, since we're on the topic of electrolytes, I think electrolytes are extremely important if you are new to carnivore. If you're coming to carnivore and transitioning slowly from keto, standard American diet, vegan diet, whatever it is, if you're new to this lifestyle, I recommend leaning on electrolytes. I'll use my boyfriend Steak and Butter Guy as an example. He's still relatively new to carnivore, and on top of that, he's extremely active. He goes to the gym every day. He breaks a sweat every single day. I recently posted a video of getting the carnivore flu. I suspected his electrolytes were imbalanced. He didn't supplement with enough electrolytes, and that was exactly what happened. When I cooked him those recovery meals and drinks utilizing electrolytes, he felt better within 3 days. So if you guys want a good recommendation for high quality electrolytes, you're new to carnivore, I recommend Element because they are extremely high quality and you know exactly what they put in the ingredients. Like I said, always check the ingredients. And this flavor that they offer is called the raw unflavored version. And the ingredients are literally sodium, potassium, and magnesium. That's
the way I feel about electrolytes, is I don't want any flavoring in there, because the flavoring always usually comes with citric acid or some natural flavors, things that you just don't need in your body. And you don't need that sweetness turned on so that it might be kicking into gear your insulin production to start dealing with sugar that's not even there, and then having more insulin resistance as a result of that. I haven't used Element Tea, but I've heard great things about it. A lot of people love Element. I like personally Redmond salt, and they have their own version of what she's talking about here called Relight, and I use the unflavored version of that. I never recommend using the flavored versions. However, it was how I was able to get my children to stop drinking Gatorades and Powerades and things like that, but so by getting the flavored Redmond Relight. So at least I got them in the right direction now as opposed to what they were having before, even though I would still rather them not have the citric acid and the flavorings. But hey, baby steps sometimes.
However, what I've noticed within the Steak and Butter gang, I've seen a lot of my members start off with carnivore, really supplementing heavy with the electrolytes, and over time, they no longer need these supplements. They really just rely on salting to taste, and that is enough. The key is just enough time. Just give your body enough time to adapt, and it will tell you what it needs. So anyways, back to this butter that I've been loving. It's from...
I like to think that I'm getting to that point now. I'm not 100% sure that I'm there completely yet, because I still salt before I cook, and sometimes I add a little salt afterward. But I really have gotten to where some days I do want salt in the water, but a lot of days I just don't want it anymore. And it's unusual for me because I used to crave it a lot.
Farms, and again, I get their unsalted butter. This is what their packaging looks like. This is what their sticks of butter look like. And if you look at the ingredients are literally pasteurized cream. That's it. And that's what I expect on all of my favorite unsalted butters. Kerrygold Unsalted has pasteurized cream, skimmed milk, and cultures. Vital Farms is literally just pasteurized cream. I've been getting this a lot lately because at my local Whole Foods, it was on sale for an extended amount of time. So I got like 6 boxes of their unsalted. This is actually my very last box and my very last stick. So I'll finish this tonight probably, and then I will really monitor how I feel on the Kerrygold Unsalted, now with added skimmed milk. And the final fat that I have been using, depending on my mood and what flavor profile I want to incorporate in my meals, is this jar of pure tallow. It's from the brand Fatworks, and it is marketed as premium cooking oil made from grass-fed beef. So the beauty and magic of tallow is that this is the ultimate gentle fat. If you are an autoimmune healer, if you're a long haul healer, if you are just extremely sensitive and you're going through histamine intolerances, oxalate dumping, and you just want to break from all of the symptoms, tallow is by far the gentlest fat. It is the least problematic fat because it is literally just beef fat. 100% grass-fed beef fat. Tallow is rendered beef fat. If you want to go a step further and be even more gentle on your body, I would not go for the rendered fat and instead go for the raw beef fat, which is called suet or beef fat trimmings. So some tips for you guys there. You can get beef tallow at any grocery store. I got this online from Thrive Market. But if you want the untouched, unrendered beef fat, suet, beef fat trimmings, go to your local butcher shops. You can even call ahead of time just to make sure they have any, and they tend to sell beef fat trimmings and suet for dirt cheap because a lot of these butcher shops, they throw it away anyways, and I've actually gotten bags and bags of them for free. $0, completely free. But anyways, tallow is great. It is an excellent option for my high-fat carnivores, and it is gentle. If you guys eat salted butter, I would continue to just eat the Kerrygold salted butter because
I've never gotten any for free, but I have bought whole fat suet from the local butcher shop, and it is fantastic. I've eaten it raw out of the package before. I would recommend rendering it if you're going to eat it, or cooking it at least with your meat. Like I cooked a brisket last night, and I had a whole bunch of meat trimmings, a whole bunch of fat trimmings rather, in the brisket because it had all frozen together, and I thought I'll just throw it all in there and it'll add to the juices in the meat. And it is, oh man, it's fantastic. But I've been eating that fat along with the brisket, and I've just about eaten half of that big thing of fat. It's fantastic that way. But the tallow, that particular brand of tallow that she was holding there, what's it called? Fatworks. They make a 7-pound tub that's even a better deal than that little jar is. I would recommend, if you're going to get fat for extra adding fat to your meals, you might as well go ahead and get the larger container because you're going to wind up using it and you'll spend a lot less per pound this way. So I'll put a link in the description for that larger one. But that is a good tallow too. I have tried that, and I've had friends who have tried it and they really like it. But I mean, it is less expensive from my experience to go buy your own suet and make it into tallow. It just takes a few extra steps. So whichever way you want to go about it, it just depends on what your schedule and your wallet will permit.
This online from Thrive Market. But if you want the untouched, unrendered beef fat, suet, beef fat trimmings, go to your local butcher shops. You can even call ahead of time just to make sure they have any, and they tend to sell beef fat trimmings and suet for dirt cheap because a lot of these butcher shops, they throw it away anyways, and I've actually gotten bags and bags of them for free. $0, completely free. But anyways, tallow is great. It is an excellent option for my high-fat carnivores, and it is gentle. If you guys eat salted butter, I would continue to just eat the Kerrygold salted butter because the ingredients are still perfect. There's no skimmed milk in the salted one. It's just pasteurized cream and salt. But with my unsalted Kerrygold butter lovers and longtime eaters, just a heads up, their ingredients have changed. I'm gonna wrap up this video. Again, I would love to know your thoughts on everything that I shared. Comment them down below. I love reading through the comments. So let me know what you've discovered, your insights, thoughts on all of this down below. You guys can go to spgmeetup.com to join the community or check out the links down below.
Awesome. Well, that was good information. It wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't helping me understand if it was something about butter and eggs specifically that affects certain people. It's just that we know that some people don't do well with butter and eggs. Some people do just fine with butter and eggs. And then now we know also we got to check the ingredients on our butter to make sure we're not getting something weird. And of course, the type of eggs might vary depending upon the person, because in my case, if I buy store-bought eggs and get the ones that are raised mostly on feed, then I wind up getting an upset stomach and sometimes having some other digestive issues with that. Whereas when I get pasture-raised eggs, I don't have any problem eating them, but I do tend to notice that I tend to balloon up a little bit in weight, or I have difficulty getting down in weight if I'm trying to get down in weight. So it's different for each person. We're not all 100% going to have the same results with everything. But the one thing I do know that I have learned in 3 years on this way of eating is that I was told for years that red meat was going to kill me, and nearly everything I eat now is red meat, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I love it, and I want you to be able to find it if that's what's been missing from your life. So check out my other videos where I talk about a carnivore way of eating. Stick around for a quick word from one of my affiliates, and I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?
I wanted to try out this new skincare product that I bought on Amazon called Vintage Tradition. The whole food of skincare, a little goes a long way. Tallow from 100% grass-fed cows, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, therapeutic grade essential oils, cedar wood, ylang-ylang, lavender, and basil. As opposed to using chemical-based cream like this that I usually use after I shave, at least all the ingredients in here are natural. This stuff really does seem to go a long way. I like it. It's definitely soothing to my skin. It doesn't have the burning sensation that it had when I got out of the shower. Vintage Tradition. Might want to give it a try. Vintage Tradition even makes products for the ladies. My wife loves the Pretty Girly Tallow Balm.
Because it feels really good. It smells really good.
I'll put a link in the description for this. Try it out and see what you think. I'll see you guys next time.